Hi, Hollywood Recap here. Today I am going to explain you romance mystery movie called Scoop. Spoilers ahead. Watch out and take care.
In a magic show, the magician Sid prepared to perform the transformation of the living. Just said to put this widow in the closet next door. Just got locked inside. Next to the widow, unfounded appeared a man. He told this widow, who was in shock. He is dead journalist Joe. He heard a clue in the hell. A boom news. He hopes that the widow who is working as a journalist intern will investigate this. When the widow heard this, she thought with a bewildered face, does not it change the living person? Why does a dead person appear? She doesn't know that this is magic content after all, or did it really happen? After returning, she actually investigated journalist Joe. She is suspicious and goes to find Sid. Sid just said that the widow was hallucinating. When he said, he didn't expect that Joe appeared. This time he said the so-called explosive news. So he met the secretary of billionaire Lemon in the hell. Secretary found out Lemon is the serial killer. She was about to report it to the police but was drugged by Lemon. After returned, the widow through a rich close friend heard that Lemon is going to a luxury swimming pool. She and Sid go there. Indeed see Lemon. The two discuss how to approach Lemon. Sid then asks the widow to pretend to drown. The widow just heard and said that this is my forte. When she got into the water, she started pretending to drown. Lemon was indeed attracted. Save the widow, so the two started talking. The widow took a fake name. She even said that their family is the largest supplier of papaya in the world. Lemon invited them to join his crew. On the Lemon delegation warmly welcomed the widow. Took her to visit the garden behind the backyard with a lake. There are also ancient treasures left by ancestors for 400 years. The widow kept admiring that this man has the ability to spend money wherever he goes. After returning, the widow and Sid discussed. Lemon didn't look like a killer no matter how. Sid told her to observe a little longer. A few days later, Lemon invited her over as a guest. The widow asked what kind of hobbies Lemon normally has. Lemon said, normally I have a hobby of collecting. Then took the widow to the basement room with the password lock. Let her see the old musical instruments he collect. The widow praised again. Lemon said this room is all his treasure. Now the widow is also in this room. A sentence brought the widow to the upstairs. Another side Sid's magic performed at the scene. Joe appeared once again. Read a string of numbers saying the password to open the door and told Sid to remember it. The audience in the scaffolding all thought that the magic effect was good. While Lemon went out to get food, the widow found in the room for a while, but did not detect suspicious items. Wait for the arrival of Lemon's delegation again. The widow told Sid to go down to the cellar to investigate if there were any clues related to the murder. She thought how to keep Lemon's time. Sid used the password to open the underground room, went inside and started rummaging. At this time, a worker came to the wine cabinet next to pick up wine. Seeing the door is not closed, then lock it. There's no way to open the door inside. Sid is locked inside. After a while, the widow started to worry. Found a reason to get out to find Sid. Found Sid locked in the room downstairs. After opening the password, go inside. Sid told her in this room, it's just musical instruments without suspicious items. While they were talking, they heard people coming downstairs. It's Lemon who went down to find the widow. Fortunately, he didn't notice anything unusual. When going upstairs, Lemon pulled the widow and wanted to keep her. The widow now didn't refuse but agrees, try hard. But at midnight, the widow still had her eyes wide open, feeling that the journalist's mission to find the truth made her unable to sleep. While Lemon was fast asleep next to her, she quietly went to the basement room. Instruments fill the room. There's really no room for suspicion. She held a trumpet. Found a tarot card hidden underneath, identical to the killer left at the scene. Lemon on upstairs also woke up. He thought that the widow went to the bathroom and called out for a while. The widow came in from outside the door. She explained that she couldn't sleep. Went to downstairs pour a glass of milk. After returning, she told Sid her discovery. Sid suggested that they can report it to the police now, but the widow said one card won't solve the problem. Obviously the widow was charmed by Lemon. When the widow's birthday, Lemon gave her a very expensive bracelet. At the same time, he said sorry that he couldn't celebrate birthday with her because he had to go on a business trip for 2 days. Sid celebrated the widow's birthdays while they were having dinner. The widow saw the opposite road. Lyman is walking in a hurry. She and Sid immediately chased out. Because Lyman's legs are really long, to a residential area immediately lost track. Just while they're in the dark, in the building next door, chaos started. A bunch of people rushed out screaming to kill people. They say next to the dead there is a tarot card. Finally, the widow can't control herself. Write a report that wants the newsroom to expose Lyman. She didn't expect the newspaper office to say that the tarot card killer had caught is a schizophrenic, not Lyman. After returning unexpectedly, Joe appeared again. He warned the widow not to be seduced. Lyman's suspicions are still there, but the widow didn't listen anymore. The widow came to Lyman to apologize for intentionally approaching him, thought that he is the killer and said it all at once. When she mentioned tarot cards, Lyman was obviously dumbfounded for a moment, but he explained that it was prepared for the widow. Moreover, lying about going on a business trip was because he wanted to join a secret conference. The widow, who has no brain, naturally chooses to trust him. On the other side, Sid is practicing. During the performance, Joe appeared again. He asked Sid to remind the widow again, even though the tarot card killer has been caught. But Lyman has the ability to simulate him committing crimes. The killer has a mental illness. Basically couldn't remember how many people he've killed. Maybe even taking a look, is Lyman's tarot card missing one? Sid felt it was right. He went to interview the neighbor of the dead. Found the dead person was a woman. According to the description of the neighbor, she has a patron whose appearance matched Lyman. Sid hastily prepared to inform the widow. But Lyman answered the phone. He told Lyman to bring the phone to the widow. Lyman felt unusual. He surreptitiously held the extension phone in another room, but the widow is overwhelmed by love, didn't listen to anything. She hung up the phone. Sid has no way of running himself to Lyman's house. Like that, there are clothes falling upstairs. While the worker is looking for, he ran down to the basement room again to look for the tarot cards. Rediscovered the place where tarot cards were placed, turned into a bunch of keys. He thought and took the key. When he went out, he bumped into workers. He casually chatted a few words and then ran away. The employee immediately called Lyman. After listening, Lyman calmly invited the widow to go fishing in the lake in his house. Sid took the key to the latest crime scene. He could actually open the door. He hurriedly drove to save the widow, but the car speed is too fast at an uncontrollable turn. Lyman took the boat out to the middle of the lake, opening mouth and said that fate is so wonderful. The widow waited. What kind of touching words does Lyman want to say next? Who knows what the next Lyman said. Unexpectedly, I saved you from the water. Now you had to drown in the water. Correct. Lyman really emulated the tarot card killer. Say goodbye to that girl. Because that girl found out he's a billionaire. Immediately started crazy to stick to him. Lyman used this method to eliminate the consequences. After saying that, he pushed the widow into the lake. After rowing ashore, he reportedly to the police that his best friend was not careful and drowned in the lake. The police arrived. While investigating the situation, the widow appeared proudly saying, "Unexpectedly, I am the school's swimming instructor. Both drownings are fake. Lyman will definitely be caught in this trap." Sid under the hell knows. The widow wasn't harmed and he was also comforted. Then happily performed his magic.
Subscribe for more videos like this, turn on notification, and leave a like to help channel out. Thank you for watching.